It's Saturday night, and Saturday night's all right for fighting. Reach up there, pull those belts tight one more time.
Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing, boys.
We see the sparks already flying. That means this track has a lot of grip. They're faster than they've been all weekend long.
Well, and you're on real low air pressure. I mean, you're probably down to 20-odd pounds in the right and in the teens in the lefts to start this race. Tire buildup is a big issue here.
Pole sitter and hometown hero Denny Hamlin led the first lap. Here's the battle for fifth. Kyle Busch alongside Carpentier's number 10.
And let me define that tire pressure buildup.
Yeah. See all the Gillette Evernham cars there who had a great qualifying run. We talked to Patrick Compartier in the 10. You see Elliott Sadler in the 19 and Casey Kane in the 9, all right there together.
Kane looking out at Elliott Sadler to his right with Montoya. Kane got his first ever Cup win here from the pole.
Yeah, that was an exciting race for Casey. Remember, he held off Tony Stewart, his hero, to get that win.
Led over half the race. See how much brake you use getting off into these corners. Pablo Montoya, we're looking at him in the 42 car, got together with Patrick Compartier off the turn 4 last time.
Oh, there, that's casual contact.
Just a little rub.
It's easy to call it casual when you're standing up here.
I agree.
You ought to be riding in that 10 car.
Here's another look at it on the right.
He's coming off turn 4. Montoya's car just went up the racetrack just a little bit, though. No harm, no foul.
Well, I'd be concerned about that left rear tire on Pat's car, because I'll tell you, that splitter gets in there, it can work on that left rear tire.
Yes, it can. Tell you what, that we see that 48 car right there, a little bump and run knocked him out of the way, but that 48 car, I watched him yesterday, Jimmy Johnson. I think that's the car you're going to have to beat. Like Jeff Hammond said, he's always right when it's nighttime.
I don't know if Patrick knows it or not, but he's going to lose his fenders if he's not careful.
He didn't give him good advice.
He got knocked all over the place. Dadgum,
you didn't tell him about that part.
Now Carpentier gets down to the inside in front of David Rudiman.
Yeah, finally he gets down on the bottom. That's what he was trying to do, but nobody would let him.
Kind of reminds me the first time that Juan Pablo Montoya ran a short track. They kept telling him take care of the car. He said, how do you take care of it when everybody's beating on it?
That's right. I'm doing my part.
Stewart looking for and getting a little room on the outside of Rudiman. This is for 13th place.
Now, one thing we want to keep an eye on, and we don't want to harp on it all night long, but brakes here can have a problem with brakes if you overuse them.
Carpentier holding his own with Stewart.
The reason I mention that is I see these guys really pounding these things off in the corner, using a lot of brake.
Steve Burns.
Well, Mike, I talked to one of Darrell Waltrip's favorite people in the garage area, Doctor Who, Ronnie Brooks.
All right.
Yeah, man, the shock specialist on the 20 car for Tony Stewart, and he said, we may not be good early, but we've made some changes to this race car that will help us later on. We've just been looking for a little bit more grip for Tony.
Red Sky at night, did you see that?
Yeah, racer's delight.
That's it.
Casey Kane in the 9 car, as you mentioned, he just took over that 5th position.
And here's Carl Edwards racing for 15th against Patrick Carpentier.
And again, as documented in the pre-race show, we've been talking about a lot of the free agents that we have this year as the season comes to an end. Carl Edwards, one of those, but he just re-signed a 3-year contract extension with Roush Fenway.
I just had a feeling that Carl would do that. You know, he likes Jack. He likes being there. He loves Bob Osborne. It's a perfect place for him to be, really.
And when you're the #1 rooster in the hen house,
that doesn't hurt anything either.
It's a good place to be. You notice a change in our Fox ticker across the top of the screen tonight. We have transitioned after some experimentation, to using the GPS transponders in the cars to give you real-time scoring, position, and intervals. So you'll see a lot of changes just like that as Brian Vickers passes Sam Hornish for 34th. The scoring is real-time, but we stress it is unofficial.
Another thing that happened while we were away, Mark Martin got by his teammate Martin Truex Jr. That let Mark in that 8 car take over the second position. Right now about 2 seconds behind Denny Hamlin. Matt, a lot like yesterday's practice, that 8 car looks pretty good on the long run.
Larry Mack, the key for Mark Martin, he told me, is to keep that car on the bottom. Next time he rolls past our digger cam, take a look, and if he's down on that line, that's where he says his car is the strongest. He just needs to roll a little better through the center of the corner, but so far, and it shows in the stopwatch, that 8 car looks strong early on.
Thanks, Matt. Reed Sorensen in the 41, the target car, started 4th and has run there since the drop of the green flag. He's under pressure now from Casey.
Got a little company from another red car that's trying to work the outside here. That outside line has really come in a hurry.
Doing a good job.
Watch how high he goes here around to get around the 41 car. Casey Kane in the Bud car just gets around on the outside, and away he goes.
But I tell you what, right now we have 2 Ganassi with Sabatos cars up in the top 8. We have Reed Sorensen in the 41, Juan Pablo Montoya in the 42 that right now is battling Elliott Sadler for 9th. I know it's early in the race, but remember, back before Talladega, after Phoenix, Chip Ganassi, Felix Sabatos, they looked at their 41 and their 42 car. They felt like that maybe they didn't have the chemistry like they needed. They swapped the crew chiefs. Montoya gets 2nd at Talladega last week, and look where these cars are running here.
Chris Devoda is in Montoya's pit.
That's right, Mike. Right now, Juan not saying a lot about his car. He was a little bit tight early on, but his crew chief, new crew chief, remember Jimmy Elledge switching over to this team starting last week in Talladega, said, Juan, you're doing great, good lap, good on exit.
I like what they did. I believe the personalities of Jimmy Elledge and Juan will work good, and I believe Donnie Wingo and Sorensen will work good. I really like what they did.
As much as we say about this being increasingly a technology-driven business, chemistry between people is still so important, thank goodness.
In the pressure to perform, there's no growing time. It's either there or you have to make a change. And we're seeing our leader now, Denny Hamlin, after 32 laps, he's already in traffic. Now he has lapped Robbie Gordon, Joe Nemechek, working on J.J. Yaley in that 96 car.
You know what would make
NASCAR Sprint Cup Racing on Fox is sponsored by Budweiser. Reach for the perfect balance of flavor and refreshment. Budweiser, the great American lager.
64 laps complete, no change in the top 7. Tony Stewart has moved into 8th as caution waves for the first time tonight for Johnny Sauter.
Right front tire.
Pretty good, yeah. Right front flat.
One thing that can cause tire problems here, you create so much brake heat, you can actually cook the bead of the tire. You can see right there in turn 4, tire went soft, couldn't even think about turning that car.
Yeah, well, the camber that they run, which is the tire leaned in at the top.
Green flag at 72 laps.
Now, the real fight will be up there with those guys on the inside line like Scott Riggs in the 66 and Jeff Gordon in the 24, trying to be the first car lap down. You're the first car lap down. The caution comes out. You get what we call the free pass back on the lead lap.
Short track Saturday night. What better time for a crank it up with NASCAR on Fox? things happen fast, but it takes the field a long time to sort out and get anywhere near single file. Now Kyle Busch has moved up to third in the number 18. Martin Truex, who started this race second and ran there for quite a while, has dropped a spot to sixth. Matt, what's the matter with Truex?
Mike, lap 20, Martin asked if his brakes were glowing. Kevin Bono Mannion pitted right across from the entry to turn one, said no, they look fine. Relative to the others, they look great. And then right before that stop, Truex asked again, are my brakes glowing? They responded again, no. He says because the pedal is down and it's bouncing around, so there is some concern about the pedal, the braking system for the one at Truex.
Now, let me just explain something. When you feel that vibration in the pedal, a lot of times that vibration will knock the pads away from the rotor. So when you first initially go to the brake, you won't have much pedal. You got to hit it a lick. You got to hit it a lick to get the pads pushed out.
Oh, that was Sam Hornish who brushed the wall.
There's some wall brushing going on back in there, I'm telling you.
Talladega winner Kyle Busch is moving forward. Steve?
Mike, the Joe Gibbs cars run first, third, and 10th. Kyle Busch on the last pit stop, they made air pressure adjustments. They made a wedge adjustment. Similar condition for his teammate Tony Stewart. They just needed to be freed up in the middle.
Hey, Steve, everything's gone right for Denny Hamlin lately. How's his golf game?
Well, Mike, Chris Devoto told me last week, when you're hot, you're hot. Denny Hamlin had a hole-in-one on a course at the Peninsula back in Cornelius, North Carolina, and he says he has witnesses.
Wow. Yes, he has been on a roll this week.
Well, Darrell, you said Talladega's a par 5. This is a par 3.
Yeah.
Hamlin had a hole-in-one on a par 3, and he's led every lap tonight.
Yeah, well, he's setting up for another one here tonight. I can tell you that. That car is awesome, man. That thing is pulling away from everybody except little buddy back there, Mark Martin, and he's keeping him in striking distance.
But I think this car we're riding with, I think he's going to be a player here before too long. He just drove by Kevin Harvick in the 29. We're riding with Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 88, started back in 22nd position. This is a battle for 6th that we're watching right now.
We've documented Jeff Gordon's woes. He made a stop under this caution, trying to make that car better. Dick, what did they do?
Almost nothing, Mike. Gordon said that the car is still snapping loose. The big problem is that it's tight, and then the back end tries to come around when he gets on the gas. The only changes that they made were to initial air pressure adjustment. He has passed just 11 cars since the drop of the green flag.
Yeah, but he's done something that's good for him right now, Dick, and he's in the free pass position. If he can stay there, they've definitely helped that car from the way it started. But he's not back in that heavy traffic now.
Well, let's hear what Jeff Gordon's saying about that car now.
All right, race to 66 for the Lucky Dogs. It's a long race still, so if we don't get up here, we'll keep making you better. We're just going to have to get it when it counts, buddy. You're doing good. I know it's not good, man. Just keep taking care of it. We'll get somewhere.
That was during the caution flag. Saw a little smoke there as he came off the corner.
That car does that a lot. It rubs the fender a lot. I mean, I don't think there's a race that we haven't been to that he doesn't have a little smoke coming off the tires.
And why is Jeff Gordon such a story? He won the pole here last year for this race, but this week has his worst start at Richmond ever.
But I just believe what Steve Letarte, who we just heard, being a cheerleader to Jeff Gordon, I think what he told me is the absolute truth. Go back to Phoenix. Jeff Gordon won Phoenix there last year, and he was not that good when we were there. You heard Matt Yoakum earlier say, same tire combination we ran at Phoenix. I just don't think they can give him a feel right now that he's looking for with this generation of Goodyear race tires.
Knocked the left front fender in. He got together, looks like here, with a 38 car. Keep watching here. There he goes right there. He got together with Gilliland, and that knocked that left front fender in, and not so much it probably hurt the aero, but he's definitely got a fender rub, and that's not a good thing. You keep watching it. Again, that's annoying. It could be upsetting the race car.
Jimmy Johnson, who swept the races last year in Richmond, winning both, currently 27th. You were watching on board through the AT&T car of the points leader Jeff Burton and the damage caused to Jimmy Johnson. And here are the top 4 car numbers picked by our viewers to win today's race. You can watch our pre-race coverage each week to play. Remember, next Saturday night we'll be in Darlington. Those are the numbers for now. Again, Denny Hamlin holding off Mark Martin and Kevin Harvick moving into third ahead of Kyle Busch. This has been an AT&T race break. Let's rejoin Darrell, Larry, and Mike.
Thanks, Chris. One more lap, and we're at the quarter pole of this race. Actually, we're past it. We're 124 now out of this 400 lapper, and Hamlin's led every lap with a long way to go. You know, last night's race started out like this, Darrell. The first half of the race was run with only one brief caution. Then things got pretty serious. That's
short track racing. I mean, you know, you get aggravated with your car, you get aggravated with your crew, you get aggravated with people out there on the track. You start retaliating a little bit here and there, and it happens late in the day. But one thing I noticed, the top 20 cars, Larry, are within 1/10 of a second of running the same speed. When Kyle Busch said, I'm stalled out, everybody's stalled out.
Yeah, I mean, you go back to qualifying yesterday, a car that missed the show was less than 0.5 of a second slower than Denny Hamlin that sat on the pole. So it's been very close and tight here all weekend long. We talked about Patrick Compartier. Darrell talked to him under the pace laps. Qualified fourth. Right now he's about to fall under the clutches of our leader Denny Hamlin. So when he puts the 10-car lap down, we will have 27 cars on the lead lap. And look at that next car he's zeroing in, that 48 of Jimmy Johnson.
Steve, how about hole-in-one Hamlin's evening so far?
Mike, his crew chief Mike Ford just said, Denny, tell me about your race car before you get into traffic. And he said, I am really good now in the center, just a little bit free off. Mike said, did we make your car better? He said, 10-4, caution is out.
Debris on the back straightaway put us under caution for the second time tonight. That caution is a huge break for Carpentier, Jimmy Johnson, Elliott Sadler, and Michael Waltrip, who were right in front of the race leader.
And it completely just killed Jeff Gordon, because Jeff Gordon fell right in line there behind a lot of those top cars. But getting into this long run, Denny Hamlin just kept putting more cars a lap down.
Denny Hamlin, Mark Martin, Kevin Harvick, Kyle Busch, and Dale Jr. will bring them to the green.
I think we're going to see some action now. I think that 29 and that 88 both are pretty darn good.
Mike, you talked about that was a huge lucky break for Jimmy Johnson 48 car. I think Chad Knaus decided to make a big swing. He brought that 48 car back to pit road a couple of times. A lot of major adjustments here on this second caution.
When your car's like Hamlin's, better than everybody else, last thing you want is a caution flag. When you're trying to catch somebody like that, you wish they had one about every 25 or 30 laps.
Keep 3 wide into the corner.
Yikes.
Is this going to work?
Sometimes.
And what you've got at the top right there between the 88 and the 1, you've got a battle for 5th position. What you have down at the bottom, you've got a battle trying to be that first car a lap down. And then McDowell gets into Brian Vickers, shoots him up the racetrack.
Wow. I don't know how he said
that. That's part of the excitement of short track racing, is you can do that. You can give a guy a wheel and move him over without either car wrecking, and you go on to race again another lap or 100.
Yeah, well, the thing about turn 1 here, it's like a funnel. It's all great, big, and wide right here, but when you get down to turn 1, there isn't a lot of room there for 2 or 3 cars.
And that stacks up the field behind the incident. No caution. We race on.
But what that did for Michael McDowell in the 00 car, it now puts him that first car lap down, and he's actually battling Jeff Gordon in the 24, who wants to get up there and be the first car lap down.
Dick Berggren.
Well, Jeff Gordon says that the car is a lot better than it was at the beginning of the night, Mike, but it is still very tight when the right front drops down on the bump stop. That basically takes the suspension out of the right front corner of the car. Crew Chief Steve Letarte all night long has been encouraging his driver, telling him that they're going to get it, they're going to get the car better. What they really need to do, and they do understand this, is to become the first car 1 lap down, and it looks real good for that right now.
Oh, we got a spin off turn 2, guys.
Montoya in the wall. And caution waves.
Fine, boys. Got the left front damage. See if you can get it fired up. You're still good. Leader's getting into 1.
Caution for the 3rd time tonight.
A lot of damage. Left front tires down. Remember, after finishing 2nd at Talladega last week, Montoya moved into the top 12 in points.
Bet somebody gets into that left front and cuts it down.
Look on the right side of your screen from the Goodyear blimp. He's next to J.J. Yaley there, the 96.
He just got loose and lost it.
Yeah, I don't think I think that left front went down when it did that right there. I love Digger.
Green flag.
I'd say these guys are not shy on these restarts.
No, they are not.
They just stick it right on in there.
How about Mark Martin? The fella's been second ever since about 15 laps into this race, past his teammate Martin Truex. He's been second all night long.
And you know what, Mike? I think I talked about this at Phoenix. That guy he's chasing, when Mark Martin started his Sprint Cup Series career, Denny Hamlin was 5 months old. The kid chasing Mark Martin, Kyle Busch in the 18, he wasn't even a twinkle in Dad's eye yet.
Harvick and Kyle Busch battling for third.
You know, Harvick could have won that race last night if he'd have just if he'd have come in and gotten tires right there at the very end, but he gambled and stayed out, and it cost him a win, but he had the best car.
That's what I based one of our keys on. Get those fresh tires every chance you get.
Let's see how fast these guys are bailing off into turn one, Larry.
Which is definitely the faster entrance of the two ends of the racetrack.
About 145, 46 mile an hour on a little track like this, down to about 90 in the middle of the corner.
You can see how they really have to play with the throttle. They're well up on the straightaway before they can get 100% with that throttle.
Here comes Junior to the outside of Kevin Harvick.
And you saw a little less speed. That's 860 feet down the back and 1290 down the front. So get a good bit more speed going into turn one. Big, long, sweeping front straightaway.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. right now, I think he's faster than both of these race cars. He just was boxed in.
He just took the bone away from that dog. I know that.
Give that dog another bone.
Somebody yanked up on the leash. That dog got sideways.
I don't know if he's been leash trained or not.
You know, we well documented it in the pre-race show. This is the second anniversary, not one that he wants to be celebrating since Dale Earnhardt Jr. last went to victory lane 71 races ago when he was driving for DEI.
Hey, another country heard from. Cousin Carl has come up into the top 10. That's Carl Edwards in the 99. The winningest driver on the tour so far this year, up against the 12, the Daytona 500 winner, Ryan Newman. Well, third, Dale Earnhardt Jr. fourth, and Martin Truex rounds out the top 5. NASCAR President Mike Helton joins us upstairs, proudly wearing his NASCAR Day pin.
I got mine.
Here's what they look like. You can get them at the Home Depot. It goes for a great cause and to benefit the NASCAR Foundation and all its worthy causes. So if you wear that on NASCAR Day, you get to wear your NASCAR gear to work. Now there's a stretch.
It is. This is our 5th NASCAR Day, May the 16th, and it started off as an opportunity for all race fans to show their colors on that Friday. So we're excited about May the 16th, and everybody should come out to work. Hopefully their employer lets them do that. Ours does, thank goodness.
That's why I say it's no stretch. We get to wear our NASCAR gear every day we go to work.
You had to be blown away how the fans have embraced this NASCAR Day. I mean, it is just busting at the seams every time we have it.
It has. Every year it gets better, and not just fans, but the corporate sponsors, the broadcast partners, the garage area, and everybody has begun to really embrace NASCAR Day, so it's working out very well.
Yeah, it is. We go over to Sam Bass's there next to the Charlotte Motor Speedway, or Lowe's Motor Speedway, and they have a telethon where drivers come and you can call in and make contributions to your favorite charity, MRO in my case, your favorite foundation, whomever it may be, or in the NASCAR Foundation. So it's a good way for all the fans to participate, and it's a great event.
And it's a lot of fun too, and everybody does come together, and it's a great day. It's 1-800-May 16th is the phone number on Friday, May the 16th. There is a telethon. A lot of the garage area, all of us will be there. A lot of the garage area will come in and out and participate in it, and the funds from that day gets distributed out back the way the fans want it to. If they want it to go to a specific foundation or a driver's cause, then it goes out that way.
Yep. We'll look forward to it. So get your pin. They're on sale at the Home Depot, or you can go online and support NASCAR Day and a lot of great causes.
One other quick thing before I leave you guys. Congratulations on your Emmy this week. That's a neat deal. I think it's your 3rd one in 7 seasons. So we're not only proud of you, we're grateful. You guys do a great job, so thank you.
Well, we're proud of it. We're proud of the great relationship we have with the sport. Folks, you don't know it, but to avoid a conflict with baseball, NASCAR pushed back the start of the race 5 minutes to help us out a little bit tonight, and we appreciate all the cooperation. Thank you.
Good deal.
At Richmond, Virginia, Denny Hamlin continues to wear out this field. 188 laps in the books. He's lapping at 23:75.
and be at the track all day and then race tonight, it really zaps them. And it really hurts their performance tonight. So have the day off and come in tonight and run a great race.
Carl Edwards 8th, chasing that maroon 07 of Clint Boyer, who just got into Montoya, coming past the start-finish line, or vice versa. And there's a lot of smoke from Montoya down in turn 2.
And remember, Montoya brought our last caution out. It looks like right now he's still got that left front fender rubbing, but he's sitting out there right now, 1 lap down.
No, that contact, he's going to have to come to pit road now.
Yeah, if he doesn't come to pit road, he'll be the next caution.
He is hoping to get a caution and not to be a caution.
Well, he's going to be one if he doesn't come down here pretty quick. I think the spotter ought to be telling him that that's a pretty serious tire rub and she's getting ready to blow.
I'll be ready, boys.
Yes, I would be.
Yeah, good advice. You ought to see it from where we're sitting.
Should the caution wave, Reed Sorensen would get back on the lead lap. He right now is the first car 1 lap down. We're going to be at halfway here in 2 laps.
That 18 car, Kyle Busch, there was a little gap there. He thought about trying to shoot through between Patrick Carpentier and Mark, but he decided better.
But he is definitely working over Mark Martin in that 8 car right now. This will be a battle for second.
Steve?
Mike, it's a lot of fun listening to Kyle Busch. He just said to his crew chief, Steve Addington, am I at least a quarter of a tenth better than Denny? Steve said, no, but keep digging. Kyle said, I'm going to dig all the way to China.
And I can believe that.
Kyle Busch in position to leave here with the Sprint Cup point lead. Halfway, 200 laps. Denny Hamlin's led them all, but we're only halfway. Martin Truex Jr. moved up to 4th just before this. The 4th caution of the night. Regan Smith and A.J. Allmendinger. Darrell, that started all the way back in the front stretch, finished up coming out of turn 2.
Yeah, they got together over here coming down into turn 1, and then Regan just took him out over in turn 2.
Laps in. During that caution flag, A.J. Allmendinger stayed out when the rest of the lead lap cars pitted. He's trying to get back in the top 35 of owner points, so he needed that 5-point bonus. And that spoils Denny Hamlin's no-hitter. He had led every single lap so far.
Looking here at Jeff Gordon in the 24 car, he has moved up to the top 12 now. He's in the 12th position.
Let's go back to that caution flag. We did not have a camera on Regan Smith, but we had Fox 3D, Darrell, to help show us what happened down the front stretch to get all this party started.
Yeah, this was kind of incidental here. I mean, I don't think anything really intentional took place right here, but apparently Regan he didn't agree with what Allmendinger did. And he just drove over here into turn 2 and just said, okay, buddy, you want to play like that? Try this.
And the thing about it, Allmendinger's still on the lead lap. Regan Smith 1 lap down in the 01 car.
Allmendinger restarted last on the lead lap after a penalty for non-compliant refueling during that caution flag.
Yeah, AJ's having a great run. I mean, the car's good.
The free pass on that caution went to David Gilliland in the 38.
I got a feeling that's where the disagreement came from. I'm not a lap down, you are. Why are you racing me?
You know, Mike, you talked about laps led situation. Denny Hamlin, of course, now with having his 4 consecutive top 5 finishes, he comes in here 4th in the points. And what he's done now, he not only got his 5 points for leading a lap, he's already locked up the 5 bonus points for leading the most laps. No one can do that because now he's led 214 of 215 laps.
Look at this traffic jam
here. Well, we've got cars that are lapped down like the 96 and the 10. Then we've got Greg Biffle in the 16, Tony Stewart in the 20 battling for 9th position.
And nobody gives. I mean, nobody gives up. Nobody says, go ahead, you're faster than I am. They race hard, man, all night long here. That's what the drivers like about this place.
Well, we're past halfway, Darrell, and you said after halfway, the give and take meter swings all the way to take.
1 glove off.
Right.
1 glove to go.
Let's get down to pit road, check with Dick Berggren.
Jeff Gordon started this race in the 43rd position, dead last. He has worked his way all the way up to 12th, and he's gained all those positions through a combination of things. They've had terrific pit stops, they've made excellent adjustments on the car, and Gordon has driven it extremely well. But just after that last pit stop, crew chief Steve Letarte came off the box and went to each and every crew member that has worked on that car, everybody going over the wall, everybody that's here in the general pit area, and patted them all on the back. He also got on the radio and told Jeff Gordon he is doing a great job.
Menard tied up with the 83 of Brian Vickers, and that one took 2 laps to unfold.
Yeah, Vickers actually got in trouble down here in 3 and 4.
Come on.
He got stuff all over his tires. He goes down into turn 1. The car won't turn. They come together off turn 2.
Vickers was not at the same speed as everybody else, and when that funneled down coming out of turn number 2, there just wasn't room for everybody side by side.
If you watch, he goes into turn 3 over here. They're 3 wide. It's Michael and a 48 car. He gets up into the loose stuff here, picks up all that rubber and debris on his tires. You see it flying around. Now he goes down into turn 1, 3 wide again. I'm sure he's probably having a little difficulty with the tires.
I mean, all 3 of those cars, their car was going to the outside, and it just ran out of racetrack over there.
Paul Menard had nowhere to go. He was being forced up, and Vickers was there. There's Gilliland, gets into Menard a little.
And it's on from there.
Somebody's bad news is always somebody's good news, and that somebody is Reed Sorensen, who gets the free pass. Busch, Martin, Truex, Earnhardt, the front 5.
You just feel that advantage at the 11 car head. Look at the 18 up on the outside there. You just feel that advantage kind of slipping away a little bit at a time. Not that he's getting any worse. Everybody else is getting better.
Boy, Kyle Busch took it slideways off turn 2 trying to get the lead.
I think Kyle Busch in the 18 car knows if he's going to get the lead from Denny Hamlin, he better do it, and he better do it quick after a restart.
Tell you what, when you've led as much as Denny has, you get real comfortable with your car, and you're afraid to make any changes to it. Sometimes that bites you.
We do need to mention it had only been 9 laps since that last caution. The top 10 cars stayed out. We had 12 cars at the back from Casey Kane on back that actually came to pit road for 4 more Goodyear tires and full of Sunoco race fuel.
The front 2 have settled down just a little bit now. Hamlin in what could be a comfortable lead. 4 cars out front, Steve.
Mike, I just wanted to add to what Darrell Waltrip just said when Denny Hamlin came to pit road the last time. He said, "You're making me better in the center, but let's keep working on it. I don't want to get complacent because everybody else is going to get better."
And that's exactly right. I mean, that's the dilemma. It's a great problem to have, but it can't be a problem.
Sorry, they all stacked up right there. Sorry, Larry. One car, Kurt Busch, slow off the corner.
We got
spin,
problems.
crash, turn 3.
Trouble.
And they just keep stacking in there. What turned into one car problem over in turn 2 ended up with all these cars tore up in turn 3.
And I tell you, the luckiest guy I ever saw, he's just rolling out of there now, is the 31 car. He got into that, but he didn't get very much damage. So he came through our point leader. He got more than I thought he had. In the 48, he got whacked up pretty good.
The field bottlenecked coming out of turn number 2. And piled up 800 feet later into turn 3.
I've been expecting this just by the way these guys have been racing each other. 3 wide a lot tonight, more than I've ever seen here.
Blaney, Yaley, and Edwards.
And I believe that just knocked Yaley up in the outside wall, and then they started stacking up behind. You see Compartier and the 10 car hard on the inside wall, and it was on from there.
It was Carpenter's teammate, Elliott Sadler, couldn't check up quick enough, got in the back of Patrick.
Boy, did you see Ryan Newman just go, all those guys going by on the apron. Nobody really got slowed down very much.
It's sponsored by Chevy, the most wins in NASCAR history. That's an American revolution.
Green flag, 237 laps in, 163 to go. And Denny Hamlin, who's led all but one caution flag lap tonight, steps out with the lead ahead of teammate Kyle Busch, Mark Martin, Martin Truex, and Greg Biffle after a long red flag for a 10-car pileup.
I think Denny must have heard Kyle say, I'm going to try to get up on the outside of him on that restart. He took off, man. He shot out like a cannon.
Yeah, we have 19 cars on the lead lap. We have one car officially out, Kurt Busch in the 2 car. And we have 5 or 6 cars in the garage area trying to get back out on the racetrack. See Dale Earnhardt Jr. there in the 88 car, one of the cars that came to pit road under that last caution to get 4 tires.
I'll tell you what, Larry, these guys are still trying to wreck again.
A lot of smoke from Robbie Gordon locking it up into turn 1.
Locking them up, going down in the corner, and 3 wide again.
Jamie Max into the top 10. He got the free pass back on lap 129 in the 26 and has fought his way back into contention, as has Jeff Gordon, who just made the pass on Dale Earnhardt Jr. to move into 7th place.
That little red flag over there, it's not a bad thing. Halfway through the race, stop, catch your breath, regroup, get you a big old drink of cold something or another, and have at it.
How about Jeff Gordon? Started the weekend, the car was dog meat. He did not like that car at all. They qualified the worst he has ever started at Richmond, but they've kept working on it, made that car better and better. Now it's a top 10 car.
Yeah, it definitely, they got enough cautions in the beginning that they were able to make the right adjustments. Thing I was impressed the most, and I think it's been well reported, is what a cheerleader Steve Letarte was, the crew chief, not only to Jeff Gordon, but to that pit crew and the guys working on this car.
Yeah, that little accident back there really breathed a lot of life into some of these guys that were, you know, outside the top 10. A lot of good cars got taken out over there.
Top 10, he just passed Casey Kane to move into the top 5.
And moving forward, here he goes by the 19 car.
That's Elliott Sadler right now, who's actually 1 lap down in the 19. Now Kevin Harvick in the 29 car, he was one of the cars that elected to come to pit road and get 4 fresh tires.
A.J. Allmendinger and Michael McDowell crashed in turn 4 to bring out the race's 7th caution. Lead lap cars are on pit road completing their stops.
It's just no contest though with that 11 car. They're having solid stops. Mike Ford and that group, they have that last pit box leaving, and they've won every battle off pit road.
Let's show you how the 7th caution flag of the night occurred.
A.J. Allmendinger, the 84 car, Michael McDowell in the 00 car. Hard contact by both cars in the outside wall.
Looked like there was a disagreement on space there. Ooh, looked like the 84 just really got in underneath the 00 way too hard. Couldn't stay off of him and wrecked them both.
Now the deck lids are tethered by those straps so they don't fly off, and that's a good thing.
Gives you wings. He's going to need one.
He's dragging that wing right now.
He's going to need to buy a wing. But it all comes back to the garage area where Allmendinger's car sits, and pit road is where McDowell has ended up. So let's recap what the leaders. Let's recap what everybody did under this caution flag. And a lot of racing. Here we go.
A little bit of an interesting situation. The 44 and the 55, Michael and the David there, they stayed out. They're on the tail end of the lead lap, trying to get it back the hard way if they get a quick caution here.
It'd have to be a real quick caution, I think.
Whoops. Whoops, it didn't take but a half a lap.
But now they will battle each other to be the first car a lap down to get the free pass should we get the caution flag out.
They've got to battle each other and Dave Blaney.
Yeah, Blaney's right there too.
And David Reagan.
Yikes.
You ready?
I'm ready. But what you got to do, grab those sound knobs and just twist them as far right. Let's crank it up.
Denny Hamlin, runaway leader. Rudeman and Hornish trying to keep from going 2 and 3 laps down respectively. And going to get the move over flag here.
Well, they should.
Now we're about halfway through this run. Remember, everyone was on pit road at lap 262. We're at lap 310. We are into what would be a one-stop race. If we stay green, about lap 345 to 355, we would see everyone come to pit road for what would be possibly their final pit stop.
Denny Hamlin's dad watching his son lead all but 1 lap so far.
Yep, and he's like any dad would be. He knows darn good and well it ain't over till it's over.
No,
you can have the best car and you don't necessarily mean you're going to win.
Casey Mears has had a strong night. He's been a top 20 car all evening, currently 17th, battling Jamie Mack. And Reed Sorensen has rebounded nicely. He got caught up in one of those crashes, and Sorensen took advantage of a free pass, and he's been on the lead lap ever since in the 41.
You know, just looking at Denny Hamlin and looking at Denny Hamlin's dad as we're looking at Reed Sorensen in the 41 car, this is Denny Hamlin's 89th career start, and he only has 2 DNFs. I asked Denny Hamlin about that. I said, you evidently pride yourself in finishes races. He said, you dadgum right, because when me and my dad were working on my race car, if I wrecked it, A, we were going to have to pay for it, and I was going to have to be the one to fix it. I prided myself on taking care of my equipment.
Guys that have started that way, own their own cars, kind of family operations, make great race car drivers.
86 laps to go in Richmond, Virginia, on the 3/4 mile. Kyle Busch now just a half a second back of the leader as McMurray draws alongside Casey Mears for 17th.
Car that seems to be fading now, and he's kind of been up and down all night, is Kevin Harvick in that 29 car. In fact, Jeff Gordon in the 24 just went by him for the 8th spot. So it's like they still do not have this 29 car where they need it, and they may only get one more chance to make it right.
Yeah, I really thought that at one point in the race this was going to be a car you have to contend with, but you can see right there that car is looking like it's pushy loose to me.
All the Childress cars came in here expecting to be contenders, but Jeff Burton got caught up in one of the crashes. They do have one car in the top 5. That's Clint Boyer.
Getting a pit stop coming here, that's probably what his problem is. He's worn out the right rear.
And Darrell, we have not had a green flag stop. Getting on the pit road here, it's tricky. The entrance to pit road is almost way back in the middle of turn 3 and 4. So it's tricky getting there.
Yeah, the commitment line is right here is the commitment line. So you're way back there when you have to, and here's pit road entrance way up here, but the commitment line is pretty far back in the middle of the corner.
And you have to get down on that apron, and trust me, that apron is pretty slick right now.
That orange box right there, that's where the commitment cone was at the start of the night. Don't know where it is now. We've had a couple of crashes over there.
And of course, here's the commitment line, and here's the green light that tells you pit road is open. Let's see if we can have any takers here. Here's Hamlin going. He goes by, so he's not coming in this time.
Denny Hamlin has now set the record for leading the most laps in a race on the 3/4 mile at Richmond. Over 350 laps tonight. That's a record.
The laps that Joe Gibbs Racing has led. They won the race at Talladega. They led 110 laps total in that 188 lap race last week.
Gibbs cars running 1-2. That's where they finished at Atlanta. Kyle Busch and Tony Stewart 1-2.
And the way Stewart is starting to close up here, it wouldn't surprise me to see him be 1-2-3 when this race ends, because Tony is coming forward at he's just gotten around to Martin Truex. He's closing in on Clint Boyer.
12th place race, Ryan Newman and Greg Biffle. Newman in the 12, trying to hold off Biffle. 46 laps to go. Oh boy, Casey Mears and Michael Waltrip get tangled up and couldn't get loose.
And the caution will fly. And again, Casey Mears, he just went a lap down, and Michael Waltrip had been to pit road to get 4 fresh tires not too many laps ago.
What, were they hung together?
Those cars looked like they were coupled
I think that's
together.
what happened. I think something happened to the 5, and then Michael got into him and couldn't get off, couldn't get undone from him.
See if Casey loses a right front here. Well, he does there after the contact.
Yeah, no, he just went over the top of Michael, and I think Michael thought they were still racing.
Well, let's ride along with Michael.
Where Tony Stewart goes to fuel up. Subway, race hard, eat fresh. And by Sprint, welcome to the 2008 NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. Speed is beautiful.
Green flag is just waved to restart with 40 laps to go. The caution was out as Casey Mears came across the front of Michael Waltrip's car, and it was Waltrip's pushing Mears down the back straightaway that got Michael parked for the night. I believe both cars are going to be out of the race, as Denny Hamlin has Kyle Busch in hot pursuit. Dale Earnhardt Jr., Clint Boyer, Mark Martin, all on new tires and ready to run for these last 40 laps.
This could turn into something, boys. I mean, you got 3 cars right here, pretty good. That 11 obviously is a little better, but there's some guys pretty hungry.
Well, when I look at the top 3, you're looking at a guy up front that wants to win in what he called his Indianapolis. You got a guy running 3rd, hadn't won in 2 years. You got a guy running 2nd. He doesn't care. He just wants to win every week and every race.
Setting up.
Kyle Busch was a guest at Denny Hamlin's charity race Thursday night, and he was a little rude. He beat Hamlin. He won the race.
Yeah,
that's what he was there to do.
Then he got in a little bit of trouble, had to go to back, but he fought his way back up there to finish 4th. But they had a great night over there, raised a lot of money for the foundation.
Southside Speedway.
We were riding with Dale Earnhardt Jr. He and Clint Boyer both just ran their fastest lap of this race here on lap 362.
Let's mention Reed Sorensen got the free pass on that caution, so 17 cars are on the lead lap.
Dale Earnhardt Jr., that 88, he's starting to work that high groove just a little bit, especially down there in turn 1 and 2. Got a great run off turn 2. He's going to go to the inside of Kyle Busch going into 3.
But that's what that does. That's called diamond in a corner, where you let it go up the hill and then run down and get a great run underneath somebody.
Still
now,
outside there.
if I was Denny Hamlin, oh, we got a wreck up here in 4, guys.
Jamie McMurray in the wall hard.
On the back.
And he was still on the lead lap.
His spotter said he got turned around. That's going to leave a mark. So we go back to the last scoring loop position that the cars crossed prior to caution, and we'll see how they score that 2nd place battle for the restart.
Yeah, it got pretty heated down in turn 1 and 2.
See what happened to Jamie McMurray.
There again, 3 wide, and somebody can't, you know, just not enough room for these guys to do what they've been trying to do, especially getting into turn 3. That's a tight corner.
Lead lap cars. Travis Kvapil got the free pass. Here we go. Short track Saturday night.
And I tell you, we got all the main guys right up at the front right now. You got 18, 88, 07. You got Mark in 5th. Truex. You got Tony 7th. You got Jeff Gordon 8th. And here's Casey Kane back in the top 10 in 9th, along with Kevin Harvick.
Tell you what, where Kyle Busch is so strong, but it's just not, it won't accept it right now as he bails that thing off in the corner. He paid the price through 3 and 4 that time. He's got his hands full of Dale Earnhardt Jr.
I believe Junior's got the best car right now. I really do. He is he's really getting off the corner. Watch him drag up off the corner here and make the pass. That 88 car has come alive, and he is looking for the lead.
2 long years since Dale Jr. last won what is now the Sprint Cup Series, and it was right here at Richmond in this race 2 years ago. Kyle's coming right back after him on the bottom. Can he get there? Junior gives him plenty of room.
And this right here is the greatest thing that can happen for Denny Hamlin, is these 2 guys going at it like that.
But I think the thing about Hamlin's car is it gets better on the long run. I think he's a little bit better over the long haul. I think Junior in the 18, they got a shot at him, but it'd be after a restart.
And the great thing about this is right now all Hamlin has to do is keep running time trial laps until and if they get to him.
And I know the 88 and the 18, they're looking out the windshield, but they better look out their back window through the rearview mirror, because that 07 of Clint Boyer and Mark Martin in the 8, they are coming.
Well, the 88 though can do something that the 11 has had on a superior over everybody all night. That 88 gets off of turn 2 like the 11 does. He's got some real grunt up out of turn 2 over there.
But he's definitely diamond in the racetrack, Darrell, the 88 car.
Make it that tells you car might be a little bit tight, but you're using it to your advantage.
Denny Hamlin has a flat tire, Mike. He just said they're going to get me. I've got a flat tire.
Oh man, be sure. Be sure. Let's see if we can see anything, Larry.
Come down the front stretch, stay away from the wall if you can, so I can look at it.
Right front looked a little soft. Maybe it should.
It's hard to tell right now, but they are definitely catching him. Look at these two side by side behind him.
Boy, I don't know, Larry. It's hard to say. It's not. It may be going down, but it's not down.
No, that right front's rolling over all the way to the yellow letters.
If it's me, you got to be sure, man. You can't take a chance.
Oh, Junior's there on the outside, and Busch is there on the inside.
When you get this late in a race, you always hear things. You always
look at him right
things.
here, though.
Whoa.
3 wide off turn 2.
That can't work. But it did.
And Dale Earnhardt Jr. comes out with the lead. They'll be coming to 17 laps to go.
That's the way to do it, baby. That's the way to do it. Come on. Stay focused. 17 to go. You're the man.
Was a power move.
Get it. It's there.
That took a lot of confidence, and it took confidence on all 3 of them to make it.
Position now outside the top 10. He's just trying to find the checkered flag of this thing. He's in the way right now.
Yeah, he's going to get run over, or that tire's going to explode, one or the other.
Denny Hamlin led 381 laps. Sorensen bounces off the wall.
I think he said, man, that's the 11.
Well, I tell you what, as we'll be coming to 10 to go, Dale Earnhardt Jr. in this 88 car, he has checked out to almost a second lead over Kyle Busch in that 18.
Let it go, man. Nice and smooth.
Biggest thing Dale Earnhardt Jr. does not need right now is a caution. He does not need a caution.
Every one of Junior's laps is a 1/10 of a second quicker than Kyle Busch.
About 2/10.
Oh, the 11. There goes the tire. Turn 3 and 4. He just lost it.
And it couldn't happen in a worse place because he's not going to make it around.
He'll draw the caution sitting there.
He didn't need a caution. Junior didn't need a caution.
There's the caution.
What a shame.
A slow leak in the right front tire robs Denny Hamlin of victory, and now will cost him a lead lap finish.
And I'm going to tell you what, this is where those crew chiefs will earn their money down there right now, because we talked about the Nationwide Series race last night. These tires now have about 30 laps on them, and trust me, fresh tires will prevail here. When we get back to racing, it will be a single file restart too.
You've got 16 cars on the lead lap. You know at least half of them are going to come to pit road, but I don't know about the front half.
Right. Dale Earnhardt Jr. trying to end the drought for Junior Nation, the longest of his career that he has gone without a win.
Now pit road is open, as Darrell mentioned. We've got Jeff Gordon that's come to pit road. We pretty much got the guys from about 7th back coming to pit road just as anticipated.
Bad news gets worse for Hamlin. For stopping on track to draw the caution, NASCAR is going to park him for 2 laps.
And I was a little afraid of that for him, because obviously the minute the caution was displayed, he went ahead and moved in.
I think, knowing now what he knows, he should have come to pit road the minute he knew he had a flat tire or had a problem with the right front. That would have been a smart thing to do, obviously. But that's second guessing.
So the first 6 drivers stay on track. Dale Earnhardt Jr., Kyle Busch, Clint Boyer, Mark Martin, Tony Stewart, and Martin Truex. The question will be, is 6 cars in that line, enough of a cushion for Dale Jr. to hold off the drivers that just got 4 fresh tires.
Well, the last couple of restarts I've seen at 18, and he did it to the 11 one time, and 88 doesn't get going all that quickly. Takes him a few laps. I'd look for that 18 to put a real charge on this restart. Maybe try to get around the outside of him down here in 1 and 2 on the restart.
I think that's his only chance.
Well, that's his best shot.
That's it.
And then if he could get tied up with the 18 and the 11, I mean the 88 and the 07 would have a shot, because he's not that bad.
Excuse me. When they come back, it'll be 1 to go. We'll have 5 laps to finish it.
Oh man, how come every week we get into one of these things?
But what really has to happen here, and we preach it all the time when we get to this point, with those old tires on those top 5, 6, 7 cars, you got to be careful not to spin the tires on the restart.
2 years ago, Dale Earnhardt Jr. last visited Victory Lane. He was then driving the Budweiser number 8 for DEI. That's Kevin Harvick right alongside. And in the end, it was Junior holding off Denny Hamlin to score the victory. And then who knew that the Victory Lane drought would last 2 years? Will it end tonight? We are 5 laps from finding out.
God, those old bodies were ugly, weren't they?
We used to race those.
We used to race those silly things.
Green flag this time by. Will it be Junior? Kyle Busch, Clint Boyer, Mark Martin, Tony Stewart, Martin Truex? Or will it be the first of the car with fresh tires? That's Kevin Harvick. Or Casey Kane, Ryan Newman, Carl Edwards. 5 to go. Green flag.
Oh, the 18 spun.
He spun the tires.
Big time.
And that lets the 07 Clint Boyer pull right up there. And there goes Mark Martin in that Army car.
Going to get interesting. Junior went up the hill pretty high, but I think that's his line.
And Harvick's coming. He's the first car on fresh tires. He's inside of Truex into turn 3.
You know, after losing the race last night because he didn't get tires, it'd be kind of fun if Harvick could get back up there.
I think he'll gain some positions. I'm just not sure he's going to have enough laps to get up there to these top 2 or 3. 4 to go.
They just got blocked real big time going into turn 1.
Boy, Kyle Busch got a great run off turn 2 down the back straightaway. You know he'll pack it down into turn 3.
Oh, he's boogieing down in there, baby.
But will it stick?
And Junior gives him the bottom. Car washes up.
Junebug's got that high line. He wants to run it, but I tell you, that 18 is going to get under him right here.
3 to go.
Here he goes.
Junior goes up the hill. Let's see if he can get a bite on the bottom of the racetrack. They'll be side by side down the back straightaway.
Ooh, man, that was tight off turn 2. He's got him. Oh, I believe he's got him this time. Oh, he turned him.
No.
Oh, he turned him. No. No.
Now here comes Clint Boyer to take the yellow flag.
Oh, no.
And wild thing, Kyle Busch makes contact with Dale Earnhardt Jr. And it looks like the drought will continue.
Boys, I'll just tell you something. That ain't going to go over too good right there.
No, it's not.
I love the little old boy to death, but that was not a good move right there. I was afraid of that when they got side by side late in the race on old tires.
Racing for the lead, Kyle Busch and Dale Earnhardt Jr. coming down the backstretch to turn 3.
I think you'll just see him. He just gets in there a little too hard, and of course Junior's not cutting him any slack. He's keeping him pinned down, but can't run over the man. That was just unfortunate experience.
But how much trouble is Clint Boyer in? We've said all weekend that the Childress cars would be strong here. We're going into the 2 laps of overdrive, green, white checker. Boyer's been good. All the Childress cars have been pretty good.
It's all on this restart right here. How he gets a restart, how he gets off the line. You got to get off the line. And he's right there with him this time. The 18 is Mark Martin right there, anticipated that start, laid back a little bit. He's got a good look at this thing.
Yeah, the guy that did not get a good restart was Tony Stewart back there. Boyer gets a good run off turn 2. Now Mark Martin's all over the rear bumper of that 18 car. Mark Martin's going to pack it down into turn 3 and 4. They'll be side by side. White flag this time.
That's what Clint Boyer needed to see.
Woo.
Kyle Busch occupied with Mark Martin for second.
Yeah, Boyer's got it made now. I mean, this race with the Mark in the 18 car, he'll just drive off and leave them.
They're racing like crazy.
Well, they're side by side. One more
Racing
time.
like crazy behind you. Now,
This is it for the win. Clint Boyer's going to take it to the bank, take it to BB&T and cash the check. He wins
Busch just edged Mark Martin back to finish second. Looks like Tony Stewart fourth and Martin Truex Jr. fifth.
The last guy that had a lot of trouble getting out of Richmond, I think his name was Grant, wasn't it? That may be as bad as this one here.
Yeah, we knew it all day, didn't we?
In his 83rd start, Clint Boyer scores his second Sprint Cup Series win. And it's the second win for Richard Childress Racing in 2008. Jeff Burton victorious at Bristol. Clint Boyer's dad up on a roof spotting. What a night. Denny Hamlin leads over 380 laps, can't win it. Dale Jr. gets the lead in the closing laps, can't win it. Clint Boyer comes through. Congratulations, Team Chevy driver Clint Boyer, on winning at Richmond from Chevy. American Revolution.
Great race for second place here with Mark Martin. Just did a great job all night long. Had a fast car. Gives Kyle a lot of room here. Kyle's good off the top here off of turn 4.
Because the last time off turn 4, Kyle got real loose.
Real loose, but I think he really timed it right that time.
Controversy. Oh, a bent bumper or two. Surprise winner at Short Track Saturday night.
Yeah, you know, racing is full of emotion. We saw it from Denny Hamlin having his problem and Dale Jr. having his problem.
And I think Clint Boyer, that's a sign, Steve Burns, never give up.
Yes, indeed, Larry Mack, and it is one jubilant race team down here. Richard Childress has already congratulated Clint. He dives out of the race car. Clint, what a wild night. What does it feel like to be here in Victory Lane at Richmond?
Man, it's just awesome. I love this place. You know, I messed things up in qualifying for these guys, and you know, we just dug deep and worked hard, and things worked out. You know, it was just took advantage of a misfortune right there up front, but just really happy for BB&T, and this Impala, you know, Chevrolet was fast all day. Jack Daniels, Trek TV, everybody involved in this thing. Just want to thank everybody. It's just, this is awesome. It's what it's all about.
Second career win for Clint Boyer. Let's go to Dick Berggren.
With Kyle Busch, what happened?
It was just a bummer deal. You know, we were both racing hard there, and you know, Denny Hamlin first off had the class of the field today. You know, his car was awesome. That FedEx Joe Gibbs Toyota was great, but you know, Junior and I just racing hard there, and getting into turn 3, you know, from the front end replay, it looked like he come down a little bit, but you know, it's just a part of racing. I mean, I probably could have moved down a little bit lower getting into the corner. He probably could have moved up higher. I mean, it's just a product of good hard race, and I apologize to those guys. You know, it's tough that they had a great race car tonight, and they probably could have finished, if not winning the race, probably second. But you know, for us and to go on the way that we have so far since all this has gone on has nothing to do with any of that stuff. So you know, to me, Rick Pigeon coming on down here was a friend of mine and has always been a great friend of Dale Jr. That was a little uncalled for, and it's not all about him all the time, so he'll know what I mean by that.
It was a strong run tonight. Chris?
Thanks very much, Dick Berggren, with Jeff Hammond. Where is the line? And you heard him address it. He could have done this. Junior could have done that. Whether, of course, it wasn't intentional, but a code of conduct, the boundaries in that situation.
Well, I think that right now we talked about that, and we looked at it, the fact that Dale Jr. could have moved up a little bit. The Kyle Busch could have maybe backed off, cut it a little bit deeper. But guys, you're going for the end of the race. You're trying to win a race, and whenever he said like the 11 car was a class of the field, when he had his problem, the door swung wide open for whoever could go through it. It looked like it was going to be Dale Jr. That's what good hard racing. That's what short track racing really breeds. We've seen it time and time again.
And we appreciate Kyle talking to us. And you know, you wonder if Junior were in that situation, the opposite, where Kyle Busch, would he have done that? Actually, let's check in with Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Krista is standing by.
Well, in the matter of one turn of one lap, Dale Jr.'s feelings had to go from what was probably elation to deflation. Dale Jr., was that a fair racing move, or does Kyle Busch need some extra security leaving Richmond tonight?
Whether it's fair or not, he's going to need some security from all of us. But, you know, I haven't seen the replay. Tony Jr. said he looked like Kyle got loose underneath me, and that happens. I was trying to, I wasn't good on the bottom, so I moved up to the top to run as good as I could up there, and he'd been running the bottom, so I figured we'd race it out, and he got a great run around 1 and 2 and nearly got by me, but he gave me room to on the outside off of 2, so I wouldn't say that was intentional going into 3, because if he wanted to, he could have just run me in the fence off 2. But we'd been racing each other earlier and had no problem, so I think I've done that before if it's what happened, if he got loose underneath me. But you know, the worst part about it is just I've been priding myself on running good all year, and I was in position for a win, and I ran hard and got wrecked. And I had a top 3 car, should finish in the top 3. So I was going for the win. Just ended up on the hook today, so just disappointed.
One thing's for sure, he's going to go to Darlington next week, hungrier than ever.